So, welcome back to another travel tricks and photo tips from me, Harry, the other way around. Travel tips and photo tricks with me, Harry Van Gorkum, on a beautiful, beautiful rainy day here in Norfolk. Now today we are looking at something which can only be seen in Greenland, Antarctica, and here in the Brecks area of Norfolk. I am on the Pingo Trail. Pingo Trail is not probably one of the most common trails in Norfolk. It does join up with the Peda's Way, which is a different story. It's a massive trail that takes you the whole way through Norfolk and Suffolk up to the coast. But today we are on the Pingo Trail. I'm going to find somewhere dry to tell you all about the Pingo Trail. This is a great trail to do in the rain because you're protected most of the time in the woods. And it's a beautiful trail, really well marked, hard to find the car park. The car park is a lay-by, which I'll show you later. It's actually a lay-by, and you pull into the lay-by and then you drive down, and there's a tiny little turning through the woods into this very dark small car park. And there's a sign saying Pingo Trail this way 8 miles, Pingo Trail that way 8 miles. Tell you what, it's really muddy. You've got to be careful here. Woo. There's a lot of rain in Norfolk on and off the last few days, even though it's August. And there's little bridges over little streams and stuff. Now coming up on the right here, this is what you want to see. This is what we're here for. So here is a Pingo. Now Pingos are, I suppose the closest thing to say is like a little crater, but it's unique to this area and to Greenland and Antarctica. So what is a Pingo? Well, a Pingo were created in the Ice Age. Basically, when all the ice retreated across the land, certain big blocks of ice were left underground, big chunks of ice. Now, when those ice chunks melted, the soil was pushed up by the ice melting. So the soil was pushed up to cause little hills. In fact, Pingo in Inuit language means small hill. But then, as the ground warmed, the soil sank back down again, creating a crater, a line around the top from where the ice had been, so it sinks back down, leaving an empty hole which fills with water. So all these Pingo holes were created in the Ice Age, and it's an amazing place for flora and fauna and wildlife to gather because it's natural little water ponds. As you can see, you've got some lovely reeds on it, lovely weeds, jets flying overhead. And obviously they keep an idea of the depth over there to see how deep it's getting. But these Pingo holes are unique. Most Pingo holes... Really? Now? There you go. A couple of phantoms. I say that like I know. I've no idea what those planes are. I just always say a couple of phantoms. F-450s. Let's go and look at this Pingo. Now this one is covered in weeds. This Pingo. Let's have a look. So now the sun's come out, I've noticed that all the dragonflies, all the butterflies, all the bees have come out too. Dragonflies everywhere. So you can see now how these pingos are so important for the life cycle of the insects and of course our planet. Very beautiful. So now the sun has come out, I'm actually going to get a shot here because you've got some lovely light on those rushes over there, and you've got some dappled light coming through the trees in the background, and you've got some interesting logs in the foreground down here. So, and then you've got the pathway going up past me here in the distance. So we're going to try and get a shot. I mean, it may not be great, but I brought my camera, and the sun's coming out, the sky is blue, and it seems crazy not to. So when you come out of the forest from the Pingos in this section, you'll come to a country lane here. Now you want to go that way, which is left on the country lane. Go up the country lane that way, do not go right, that'll take you down to a farm building, some other buildings. So it's not actually signposted, which is weird, because there are signs in the middle of the forest telling you where the Pingo Trail is, which you don't really need because the path is so obvious. You come out here and there's a road. So go left on the road. Takes you up towards Thompson Water. So you're going to walk down the lane past a few houses. You'll have a farm on your right and Four Seasons house on your left, and you keep walking up here hopefully until we find Peda's Way. As I said, oh, what does this say? This says public footpath. That's not what we want, but this is what we want. There it is. And now we are actually on part of the Peda's Way. Now the Peda's Way used to be a Roman road that runs through Suffolk and Norfolk all the way up to Hunstanton on the coast. So one of the longest walks you can do, which I think takes about 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks, but I'll check that down here, is Peda's Way through Suffolk and Norfolk and then hit the Norfolk coast path. I'll tell you why it's called Peda's Way when I find out. So this is the road here, and it actually ends here, turns into a gravel path. No signs again suddenly, but just following the sign that said Pingo Trail this way. So as you come up the road, you've got a V. Now that way takes you to the Peda's Way cycle trail. You've got a sign here that tells you Peda's Way cycle route, and nothing about the Pingo Trail. But if you look carefully in the undergrowth here, there's a tiny little sign here which you've got to look out for, which will probably be overgrown, saying Pingo Trail up that way. Well, that was a great walk. The Pingo Trail, who knew? It's a very unknown trail in Norfolk, and it's got some amazing woodland. The small crater lakes are just fascinating to look at. On a rainy day like today, it's a great trail to do because you're covered by the trees, and you're protected by the forest. Highly recommend it. Great for photography. Great walk. The Pingo Trail. You don't have to go to Alaska, you don't have to go to Greenland, just come to the Brecks in Norfolk and check it out.